While I think we all love our clinical work, today we're going to talk about applied psychoanalysis. And this program was inspired, among other things, through my developing interest in applied analysis. About 15 years ago, I began a local psychoanalytic program in Philadelphia, modeled on the Americans program. And we attracted not just clinicians, but other professionals who applied psychoanalytic thinking to their fields. This involvement, through this involvement, my interest in applied psychoanalysis has blossomed. As with all ventures of applied psychoanalysis, we have a great deal to learn and gain from other fields, and I'm sure today our baseball and sports colleagues will shed light on aspects of their work that we can apply to our analytic work.
It's a pleasure to be here today. I do about 200 speeches a year. This is not my typical audience, but when I heard there was a gathering of psychoanalysts in town, I knew I had to be here for all of you. You heard a little bit about what I have done. I spent about 27 years in Atlanta running the Braves, the Hawks, and the Thrashers. And then in 2006, I joined the Lerner Group, and we were able to purchase the team and bring baseball back to Washington, build a world-class venue, and now we can really brag about the future of what we're trying to put together.
My son ended up being a bat boy for the South Bend Silverhawks for some years. Some of the players whose names you'll recognize came through. It's a single-A team for the Arizona Diamondbacks at the moment. Mark Reynolds, Justin Upton, Connor Jackson, Carlos Gonzalez, Alberto Gonzalez, Ross Ollendorf are some of the people that have come through recently. And when I heard about this panel, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to have Stan and Jeff and the rest of you here. It's really fabulous. There were a few issues that I thought might be of interest. Stan has really addressed one of them, the ADHD and the problem and the question of diagnoses of those kids and the medications used. Larry Westreich, is that right? Larry, can you just put your hand up? Larry's a Major League Baseball consultant in this area as well, and it's that was one issue I was going to go to because we're dealing with adolescents in the minor leagues. The whole question of so many of these kids, 17, 18, 19, we're talking about middle to late adolescence. We're talking about those sorts of developmental issues, cultural issues, language issues, separation issues, serious for us developmental issues that one could see over the years. But what I really wanted to mention just briefly as I thought about this was how many I would get packs of baseball cards, every year from the minor league teams. And in going back over those, what was stunning was how few of them made the major leagues. Maybe 1%, 2%, maybe something like that. So the question is, what happens to the others was what I found myself wondering about, particularly having a chance to see these kids, not formally in some of the ways that the other panelists have, but somewhat more peripherally. And the question of education came up. And the issue about considering whether or not there may be some systematic way that baseball could help these kids with respect to their education when they're in the minor leagues. It may sound overly optimistic, but I'm not sure that it is. To work with the high schools and the colleges in the areas to make it possible for these kids to get some education, even though they're on the road much of the time. I think there are ways to do that, especially in our technological age, to provide financial help for them, and to encourage them, possibly even to make it, if not a mandate, close to that. I think it would be very useful for these kids because, as I say, the majority are not going to make it in Major League Baseball. They may not even make it in baseball at all in terms of jobs. So here you've got young adolescents who, again, are grappling with cultural separation type of issues, adolescent issues. And maybe there's a role for baseball to help in that way educationally.
I was trying to think of a way to describe this, and I think if I could paint the picture for you of growing up in very, very rural North Carolina, and about the only excitement that was around was baseball. And so for us, I mean, I never thought of baseball as a sport. I thought of it as a mythic struggle between heroes and sort of bad guys, you know. And I was fortunate. I lived in this little tiny town in Walkertown, North Carolina. And Winston-Salem was nearby. It wasn't much bigger, but it did have a farm team of the Red Sox. It was called the Winston-Salem Cardinals. And us kids were, you know, 8, 9, 10, and we were supposed to go patrol the outer wooden fences to make sure no one was watching the game without paying. And they called us, it's probably what made me a psychoanalyst, they called us the knothole gang.
We cast our lot with going with young players. It's economical. It also, though, provides the longest term benefit. But there's the one other interesting kind of psychological element that plays into our relationship with our customers, our relationship with our fans. There's nothing more powerful, nothing more interesting or entertaining to our customers than Youngtown. Youngtown excites all of us, as we saw again this week. There's just nothing like it. And when you can build that way, when you can build a team of predominantly young talent, homegrown young talent, it also gives your customers, your fans, a stake, a connection with the team that you just can't have otherwise by signing up free agent veterans. It gives your fans the feeling, the relationship with the team, as if they're building too. They're coming up along with it too. And so there is the developmental benefit to going with young players, but there also is the real emotional bond with your customers that makes it a very wise business decision also.
Thank you. How do you do that? You have a large, an extra large? Really fun. Fingers crossed. You want to run the other direction.
We've only got 10 rooms, but into hot humid weather.
I think the association really needs to spend more time together and kind of socialize. So I think this is really important. It's better than, past years. We don't have events like this, so this is really, really good. It's very special. I like it.
I think it's a great experience. It was real interesting to hear baseball and psychoanalysis talked about from different points of view. It's such a, like all sports, such a mental game, and it was real interesting to hear people who have experience dealing with it, talking about it, and then to get to be here at the park and in the place where we are, it's really a unique experience.